Can you tell us?
The verdict right now is on the question of whether or not Mr. Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. The jury has found him, has said no. But on the question of whether or not she was sexually abused by the former president and whether or not he forcibly touched her, the jury has come back and said yes. They have found him liable for sexually abusing and forcibly touching E. Jean Carroll back in 1996.
So I just think at a certain point, people are going to say that it's too much. It's not. It doesn't mean that you don't like President Trump or you don't think he was a good president. It's simply that to roll the dice on nominating somebody with these kinds of difficulties and baggage, I just can't see it.
Oh, that's gotta hurt!
When not even Fox News can spin you out of trouble, you know things are going south.
And guess what? His numbers keep going up. What does that tell you, Geraldo?
I think that it is so parochial and partisan to suggest that a rape, a finding of sexual battery is nothing. This is not nothing.
Today, just in case you missed it, the Republican frontrunner for president in 2024 was just found liable for sexual assault, battery, and the defamation of E. Jean Carroll, which, in case you're keeping count, makes him the first president to be impeached twice, the first former US president to be charged with criminal activity, the first former US president to be found liable of sexual assault and defamation. But MAGA, right? But in the wake of this breaking news, I flicked over to Fox expecting them to spin this. And while some definitely tried,
We invited you to talk about the 2024 race and a number of aspects of what's going on right now. But your reaction to this decision by this jury here in New York City with regard to the current lead in the Republican Party for the nomination?
Well, we haven't heard from President Trump yet, so I don't want to get ahead of him. We have heard him prior to the verdict saying this is untrue. I imagine he'll say the same thing. I do think the American people, though, are going to be focused on what's happening at our southern border, what's happening with inflation, what's happening in their lives under the Biden administration. And that's where I think the focus is going to continue to be for people looking at 2024 and ahead.
Fox News guest Andy McCarthy, well, he turned on their fearless cult leader.
The former president said about not, he would never have been attracted to her. Watch this.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah. That's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
Carroll.
Oh, is that,
the person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
Point, your wife. And the woman on the right is your then wife,
I don't
Ivana?
know. This was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson. Is that?
That's Carroll.
Because it's very blurry.
Your thoughts on that, Andy, as it might have been interpreted by this jury?
Well, I think the context for this, Martha, is that he said she wasn't his type. So, the last person you would want to confuse her with would be someone you married.
Yes.
The possibility the special counsel will bring charges. The New York Manhattan District Attorney has already brought charges. There's a question about whether they'll bring charges in Fulton County. But then, staring right in front of us is this trial that's already been scheduled for October, which is a fairly key period of time when the primaries and the debates have gotten rolling. So I just think at a certain point, people are going to say that it's too much. It's not. It doesn't mean that you don't like President Trump or you don't think he was a good president. It's simply that to roll the dice on nominating somebody with these kinds of difficulties and baggage, I just can't see it.
And a similar sentiment was echoed by the broken clock Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah, but Martha, here's the key point. Mar-a-Lago raid, historic. 2 impeachment, historic. Criminal charges, historic. A civil case. And guess what? His numbers keep going up. What does that tell you, Geraldo? What does that tell the other candidates? Trump is popular with the everyday people. Maybe not inside the Beltway, Martha. I'll give you that. But the everyday people, no candidate on this planet can rally 40 or 50,000 people on a weekend when he calls for a rally. And that's the magic of Donald Trump.
You want to respond to that, Geraldo?
I think Leo is right. Leo is right in terms of the charisma and the magnetism of Donald Trump, who has been a lifelong friend until he, helped stage a coup after the November 2020 election. I think that it is so parochial and partisan to suggest that a rape, a finding of sexual battery is nothing. This is not nothing. This is a woman has now convinced a New York jury that she was attacked by the President of the United States, and has been, and the jury has found she is now will be receiving after appeals $5 million in terms of the judgment. If you think that the women of this country, the men and women of this country, can hear sexual battery, sexual battery, sexual battery, this is much more serious, I think, in today's day and age than when Trump said he could fire a gun on Fifth Avenue and still people would vote for him. Yes, he is a Teflon Don in many regards, but I think that this one is a bridge too far, Martha.
All right, we will see.
But seriously, to most of us not indoctrinated into the cult, this comes as, well, no surprise. I mean, did you hear his response when he was pressed on his Access Hollywood comments during a deposition last year?
In this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Donald Trump has been credibly accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment countless times throughout the years. I mean, there was an entire book written about this, which goes into detail involving 26 incidents of, quote, unwanted sexual contact, and 43 instances of inappropriate behavior. And all of this was known before he ran, during his presidency, and afterwards. So if the question is, will this verdict change the minds of those who subscribe to him knowing the problematic intricacies of his past, then no. It's a cult.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.MeidasTouch.com.